just like you've done before, and wrap my heart round your little finger. Here you come again, just when I'm about to make it work without you. You look into my eyes and lie those pretty lies, and pretty soon I'm wondering how I came to doubt you. All you gotta do is smile and smile, and there go all my defenses. Just leave it up to you, and in a little while you're messing up my mind and filling up my senses. Here you come again, looking better than a body has a right to, and shaking me up so that all I really know is here you come again. And here I go.
People out there that wish you were me, get in line, baby, because I am. The baby maker.
All you gotta do is smile and smile, and there go all my defenses. Just leave it up to you, and in a little while you're messing up my mind and filling up my senses. Here you come again, looking better than a body has a right to, and shaking me up so that all I really know is here you come again. And here I go, here I go, and here I go, and here I go. Here you come again, and here I go, here I go.
Here I come, ready or not. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. Hello, everybody. This is Kay Lazar, and I'm introducing this special edition of the Gorgeous George Show. This is the Gorgeous George Christmas special of 2013. Now, if you in days gone by, there was the Nat King Cole and Andy Williams and Christmas specials, Mel Torme. Let me tell you something. If you want to see that talent again, you're going to need a flashlight and 2 shovels, because Gorgeous George is all that's left. So Gorgeous George is going to entertain you with his Christmas stuff today. He's not here right now. He's on his way over here. He wasn't feeling too well today, and he's at the doctor's. He's suffering from affluenza. You know what? You ever heard of affluenza? I've never heard of affluenza. I think it's a made-up word. It reminds me, and I think I've been suffering from it for years. That judge, let me tell you something. You know what? What they say is chutzpah. It reminds me of this affluenza giving this kid, slap on the wrist for. I don't want to make light of the crime, but it reminds me of when the Menendez brothers killed their parents, and then their lawyer tried to plead mercy on them because they have just been made orphans. Anyway, it's I hope you're all enjoying your Christmas season. It's going to be a pretty exciting one. It was the shortest season ever because Thanksgiving was so short, and then after that is New Year's Eve, and then we're back in 2014. And I hope you enjoy Gorgeous George's farewell performance. Well, no, not farewell performance tonight. This is his first farewell performance. There's going next year he'll have a second farewell performance. He may have a string of maybe 40 or 50 farewell performances, but he's coming your way. And and he had a trip last weekend. He'll tell you about. Also, what's else going on? Stay tuned. You're watching the Gorgeous George Show. Oh, well. Yeah. I've been back. I've been held over by popular demand. Anyway. I was in a show last week. I was in Les Mis, and I played a really bad guy in it. And they said stick to the script. Don't try to give him any sort of humanity. Get rid of him. So anyway. And then don't try to give him any sort of humanity. Just play him as a bad guy, just like Joe Pesci or Al Pacino or James Cagney in almost everything. What is that? I think I hear our guests coming in. just follow the sound, and there you are. Anyway,
stop eating those beans.
Huh?
You gotta stop eating those beans.
I'm not the one with the lousy diet. I eat pretty well. I'm like a health nut. I mean. And let's see. Now, what else is going on? So I was in the show and everything's going on, and I'm just looking forward to wonderful 2014 and everything. We also have music coming up. We have all your favorite songs, provided all your favorite songs before 1979. So we're going to play tonight. All right, here we are. Welcome to the Gorgeous George Show. My name is Kay Lazar. Coming your way.
Let's go. Okay, that's fine. All right. This is Gorgeous. Causing all this, we're over here. This is Gorgeous George. What is causing all this, baby? I am what is causing you all ladies to have an extra secretion in your panties. Get ready, because we're going to go ahead and sing you a little lullaby. Kevin? Maestro? There we go. Wasted days and wasted nights, I have left you behind. For you don't belong to me. Your heart belongs to someone else. Why should I keep loving you when I know you aren't true? And why should I call your name and when you're to blame for making me blue? Don't you remember the day that you went away and left me? I was so lonely, prayed for you only, and now my love, why should I keep you loving you when I know that you're not true? And why should I call your name when you're to blame for making me blue? Kevin, play that kazoo, man. Play that kazoo. That's right. Making you constipated too, yeah. Now don't you remember the day that you went away and left me? I was so constipated, I prayed for you only. Now my love, why should I keep on loving you when I know that you're not true? And why should I call your name when you're to blame for fingering me? Woo! Yes, baby. Why should I call your name when you're to blame for making me blue? Woo! All right, let's get this thing rolling. We're going to kick it off here. I'm going to, Kevin, put that thing down. We're going to. This is. Right. There's no bridges this time.
All right.
We're just coming in and transition. You know, that's what I said. It's this how we do it. Come on in.
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
You're doing fine? Okay, I'm doing fine
great.
too. All right, baby. This is the Gorgeous George Show. We are the barometer. We are what's causing all this 19 years on pubic asses. Yes, when I say pubic asses, I mean public access. And we are doing fine. Merry, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Brazier. Betty Sue, I know what you're doing right now. You're sitting back there and saying, Gigi, your karaoke performance was beautiful. It's getting me all so wet. Betty Sue, that was the whole purpose of that, was getting you wet and tingly. And I hope that you were wet and tingly. And by all means, stay wet and tingly. Keep strumming along because we got more from where that came from. Woo!
Hey.
Tell you what, you know, it's a beautiful thing to see us on your picture tube. It makes it even more. And, and Kevin's doing a little dance back here.
Yeah.
Okay, what's up with that?
I don't know, but it looks like we're at the end of a long haul.
You like that? You like that? Okay, I don't know. I don't care. It's TV. It's called improvisation. That's how we do it. Now, we got a lot to talk about, a lot to do in the show. This is our 6th show for 2013 and our last show for the year of 2013. Baby, I tell you, 19 years of making it flow and doing it to you all with a little pizzazz. Listen. Don't hurt me because I'm beautiful. Don't bash me because I'm beautiful. Because I'm gorgeous, ladies. Learn to jump on the excitement. Learn to jump on the merry-go-round for more. Now, we got a lot to do here. I took a trip to Dallas, so we're going to get into that here in a bit. Are we okay back there? Everything is beautiful. All right. Took a trip to Dallas. I've been going to Dallas for a long time. Haven't been there in 5 years, but I went to the new stadium, Jerry's World. And it was a great experience. Well, it was a great experience to see the stadium. Shitty seats, but we'll get into that in a bit. Now, ironically, I hate flying. I actually hate with a passion to fly. But the flight, believe it or not, was better than the trip. Yeah. Can you believe that?
Have any
the flight was better than the trip. The stewardess were giving up, salty nuts. And I told her to go try my nuts. She was eating some salty nuts. She said, "Sir, can I give you some salty nuts?" I said, "Ma'am, no, try my nuts." And it was a beautiful thing in that train in that time, basically.
You know there are U.S. Marshals on those planes. I'm sure they had their eye on you.
You know what I like? And I had my eye on those stewardess too. And you know what excites me? They wear those sensible shoes.
Yeah.
And then they wear those pantyhose. Those up to the pantyhose, nylons, man, it gets me excited. And when you walking up there and say, and I would call her over because when she was walking down the aisle, I put my leg up, closer to the aisle, so she's like rubbing up to my leg. She said, "Sir, you okay?" I said, "No, I'm fine. But please, give me some more nuts, please."
Yeah.
Okay.
What movie was playing?
Actually, you won't believe it.
What?
Our show.
Oh, great.
They were watching the track of our show. The Halloween show we did back in 2010.
Did they sell a lot of barf bags?
I don't know what they were selling. They were selling something basically. They sold something. That's how they did it. Anyway, so now it was a trip. But now, unlike other trips going down to Big D, this trip lacked a lot because we went down there and then I had paid my final payment for the package. It doesn't matter. I was paying in portions and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to name the names. This is something that has to be brought, and there's already a litany there's already a big major brouhaha on the internet about this service.
Started by you?
And no, it's started by other people that have complained about the service from a year ago. There's a certain service in Dallas, Texas, and they do packages. They do sporting packages for all the Cowboy games in Dallas and away games. They also do the thing for the Masters. They do the Masters. They did it last year. They did it for also trips to the Bahamas. Okay? This lady that does these packages has been conning some people, scamming people off. A year ago, she scammed a whole bunch of people in the Cowboys-Steelers package for Thanksgiving last year, and she did the same thing this year for the Cowboys-Raiders game. She scammed a lot of people for the Cowboys-Steelers game last year by not producing any tickets and not producing hotel accommodation. We need to keep a level back there down. It's a lot of noise in the back, a lot of feedback. Keep a level down in the back, please.
I can't hear you.
Okay. So now also, too, this year in the Cowboys-Raiders game, the same thing happened. And people did not get their tickets, and people did not get their accommodations to the hotel. Are you in pain?
What hotel was it?
Are you having a baby?
No.
Okay, I thought you were.
I was going, no.
Okay.
Can't believe it.
Okay.
This is awful. This is bad news, pal.
All right. Well, easy with the baby kicking in the stomach. I know you. If you want a Tums, I have one in my pocket. So anyway, basically, the situation came to a point where I wasn't even in the registry in the hotel. So we went around for an hour. I was already tired, booked. I wanted to check in. We're not in the registry in the hotel. This service did not put me on the registry. And no itinerary, no email, no nothing.
Yeah.
No itinerary. So when it came time to go ahead for the bus, okay, we did not have a time. I was out there. I was asking the hotel where the bus is coming out. It used to be a different hotel. It used to be a hotel back in the days of Texas Stadium. This is the first year that I went to Cowboy Stadium, AT&T Stadium. So basically, the Texas Stadium, of course, they imploded that some years ago. That's the last time I was down there back in 07, 08. This is the first year going to the AT&T Stadium. So I didn't know the layout. Well, needless to say, the clerk of the hotel had no idea where the buses were. I said, where did the buses come out? They had no idea. And it came to a point where we're looking around and trying to find out where they were. We're trying to find out where they were. Finally, came to a point where someone there told me the buses had already left. This woman had not given me any itinerary. The woman did not give me any itinerary or call or nothing. So I had to go ahead and take a cab all the way down from Addison, Texas to the new stadium in Arlington. 45-minute drive and a ride back after the game from Arlington back to Addison, Texas in some over-expensive hotel where a can of Coca-Cola costs $10. If you wanted a can of Coca-Cola, it cost $10. They had no soda machines. Everything was overpriced. Everything was overpriced.
Yeah.
And complimentary dinner passes and breakfast passes weren't there. I paid for complimentary dinner passes and breakfast passes. I had to pay additional. I had to pay additional for transportation to and fro from the stadium, and I also had to repay for shitty tickets up in the nosebleeds.
Well, there are always going to be nosebleed tickets. Let me tell you something about these packages. There's only 16 games a year, so for each team. So 8 home games. So all those tickets are bought. They're all sold out, and then they sell them through these packages. So buyer beware. Caveat emptor.
Well, it goes beyond all of that.
Yeah.
And now I'm not going to name the lady's name, but I'm going to name the company's name. It's called Maximum Sports. The Dallas Cowboy organization has discredited these people. Now the organization, they used to use Maximum Sports throughout. Now the Cowboy organization, since his brouhaha last year, has used different services. They're not using Maximum Sports as their major package connection. Best believe, yours truly, who's been a Cowboy fan knee-high as a kid, we're going to go ahead and stress a letter to the powers there be in the Dallas Cowboy organization about this. And I'm sure other people have, and I encourage, there'll be an online petition that I'm going to set out there for everybody to see. And everybody's going to see who's had this and who's known about this is going to sign that petition, and I'm going to put it out there for everybody to sign and everybody out there to see about what this woman has done. I'm not going to name her name, Maximum Sports, Google it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. That's all I'm going to say about that.
There's a YouTube expose on them. So
Yeah.
check that out.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Cowboys, all about the Dallas Cowboys. There is a local man in here in the Richmond market that's been doing Cowboy Nation, Team America's team, Mike Hancock. He's on sports radio, AM 910, WRNL. Do they still call it WRNL?
Yes.
Okay. Come on, Mike Hancock.
Where am I sitting?
You sit over here.
You can sit right next to
All
me.
right. Come over here,
Here's
Mike.
your microphone.
You got a microphone over here. All right, we're going to talk some Cowboys, baby. Cowboys for the next entire, for most of the show. And we also have a special treat. And the special treat, we got somebody in the house tonight that's going to, we'll get to that in a moment. But right now, here we go with Mike Hancock.
How you doing, George?
I'm doing great.
Sorry to hear about your negative experience in Dallas. I'll tell you a funny story. My co-host Dave Bender and I went down for the next to last game in Texas Stadium.
Yes.
When they played the Giants on a Sunday night. And we stayed at a hotel. We booked our own package.
Right.
But the hotel was supposed to have a shuttle to and from the game.
Right.
And I don't know if you remember the proximity of Texas Stadium. There was an interstate that ran right next to it.
Yes.
And then an access road.
Crisscross. Yeah.
Right. And then an access road that ran right alongside it. Well, we get the shuttle to the game. Well, the shuttle to the game apparently was they got off the interstate on that access road.
Right.
And they tried to stop and let us out one time on the access road. We're still half a mile from the stadium parking lot. And the police actually stopped and was like, no, you can't get out here. And then the guy pulled up like 150 feet and dropped us off. So it was a shuttle to the stadium. And then the pickup spot for the shuttle was supposed to be somewhere near the same spot. So you had people after the game trekking along the side of this interstate shoulder now, waiting for this shuttle that never came. So.
Right.
Those things happen. Sorry to hear you had the bad experience, but the worst experience, obviously, was sitting there through the whole second half of that football game, having to deal with what went on there.
Well, we're going to get to that, and I have my own take. You have a sports radio show on Wednesdays called Team America's Team.
Yes, we're on every Wednesday from 6 to 8 on
Right.
Sports Radio 910. I actually just got off the air before I came down here today.
Right.
And we talk, this area is so Redskin-centric, even more so.
I call them foreskins, but go ahead.
Yeah, even more so since training camp moved here. And I think there's a lot of trepidation out there, even among the people in the local media, because everybody knows that Dan Snyder is notoriously thin-skinned. And I think there's a lot of people out there that when they hear that Dan Snyder has a radio station here, they assume that maybe he's listening to other things going on, and that if they say something damaging to the Redskins brand, then that could hinder their access at next year's training camp, which if you're in sports in this area and you're not doing a show about the Dallas Cowboys, that's relevant.
Right.
To me, I don't care. So I'm one of the few people I think that goes on the radio that can be honest not only about the Cowboys, because if you listen to my show, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, that's for sure. And I can honestly be honest about the Redskins too, because I think you have a lot of people out there with a vested interest in trying to placate their interests right now in this area, but we don't have to do that. So it gives a different perspective.
Well, now, and I told you myself, if I was to do your job and filling in for your main guy over there, being objective, they would fire me in the next 30 minutes. I mean, if I was in there doing my deal, trying to be pro Washington, they would fire me because I wouldn't be pro Washington. Some people are objective. When it comes to that team, I'm not objective, and I'm just being honest.
As you well know, George, controversy creates everything. Viewers, callers in our business.
That's right.
And that's kind of the crux of the Team America's team. I grew up a Cowboys fan in Richmond.
Right.
And I remember at 8 years old sitting in my elementary school telling stories and I would be sitting there and it'd be me arguing against 8 or 9 other kids. And I had to, as a Cowboy fan, in order to win those arguments, I had to become more knowledgeable about football and more knowledgeable about statistics.
Right.
And I had to learn more and I had to invest more in the game. And as a result, it made me more effective in battling them. And it really kind of created the template for what became my love of sports and led to the development of this radio show. It's based on that same concept in that we're kind of the outsiders here, but we're not. There's so many of us. And, we're in a minority, but at the same time, that majority has shrunk and gone away because they don't stand behind their team when they're in bad.
I want to tell you what, there's no minority when it comes to Cowboy fans, because you got Cowboy fans, more Cowboy fans in D.C., you got Cowboy fans in Philadelphia, Cowboy fans are everywhere. We don't divide, we multiply.
One of my co-host Dave Bender always said the Dallas Cowboys are the #1 football team in one market and the #2 football team in the other 31. Exactly. So if you look around the country, outside of the local team, wherever you are, the team that's probably most popular in that market, the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
And, it's funny because when you label yourself as a Cowboys fan, as you do here on your show,
that's right,
you become a target.
That's right.
And especially for Redskin fans, because at this point, given what goes on with the foreskins, given what goes on with them, a Cowboy loss is as close to a win as they get.
You know what I think? I want you to go ahead and finish your train of thought.
I've always referred to them as kind of our bitter ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
In that they care a lot more about what we've got going on than we care about what they've got going on.
Right.
And they've been the biggest story in sports, really, in terms of their dysfunction over the last couple of weeks. And I think they were thankful for the Cowboys for blowing that lead the other day.
I'm sure they were.
Because that took some of the pressure off of them.
Right, ironically,
nobody's talking about them coming into this game.
And all four teams. How about them Giants getting bitch slapped? Them Giants getting a freaking goose egg? How about that?
As bad as they've been playing, that's not the shock. The bigger shock was Philadelphia going into Minnesota.
I called that game.
And I don't think you called it quite like that, though, man. That was for Matt Castle to come out there and put up almost 50 points.
I called the Vikings to win.
With no Peterson and no Gerhardt that was a stunner for me. Whether as far as I thought Minnesota could stay with them because their defense is bad, but when I saw no Peterson, no Gerhardt,
and I wasn't aware of that until you just mentioned it.
Yeah, you get that situation. Totally different.
Here's the deal. There's one thing that I see is the problem. Everybody's saying now Cowboy fans and Cowboy fans alike want to blame Jerry Jones. Cowboy fans alike want to blame Tony Romo. Cowboy fans alike want to blame Garrett. On your show, it's either you say Jones, Romo, or Garrett, or whoever. I think what you do is the fact you blame it simply on this one thing. You cannot. There are other teams. Let me backtrack for a second. There are other teams such as Philadelphia, Atlanta, Arizona, Seattle that have never had a Super Bowl. Detroit never had a Super Bowl. These teams, Houston, never had a Super Bowl. Okay? Jacksonville, Carolina, never had a Super Bowl. Came close, but never had a Super Bowl. They're going to say, well, you haven't been in the playoffs in 16, 17 years. Hell, we started the show back in 95. They haven't been in the Super Bowl, been in the playoffs. Well, they have been in the playoffs a couple times, but they haven't been into the big dance or haven't been significant since we started the show back in 95. That being said, there are a lot of teams out there that wish they had this rich tradition as the Cowboys. No matter what, we are still America's team more than the Packers because there are more Cowboy fans out there, and I'll say this with a straight face, than Packer fans in the United States of America. You're going to go to other countries that know about football, I will bet you dimes to donuts there are more Cowboy fans, America's team. Tom Landry, salute, the man with the hat. Eloquent coach, eloquent Christian man. The team has rich tradition. What are you laughing at?
I always buy the
take some notes. So that's pretty much what that boils down to. So Packers below me. You had no business winning that game. The only reason why the Packers had won that game is because we have a big. Hey, shut your mouth! Shut your mouth! What about those Eagles? What about those Eagles? Now the bottom line is this: the defense. What you like? Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings.
George, I gotta make something very clear.
Listen. This guy back here is constipated. I don't know what he's doing. Bottom line is what I'm trying to formulate and say is that there's one team, and that's as you say, Team America's team. The Cowboys are Team America's team. America's team. They had that metro. They had that label. The bottom line is, a lot of teams wish they had the Storybrooke franchise that we had, and 5 Super Bowl trophies and 8 appearances. So the Steelers, okay. Steelers and 49ers, all right. But nobody else can talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, even in our... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well, I have to say something, my friend, that George, in other words, the last time the Cowboys were in the playoffs, and then you started the show, and ever since then, the Cowboys have not been in the playoffs since, and if I think, I'm not a man who believes in curses or jinxes, but I think that you should be hoist on your own petard for the good of the Cowboys.
Kevin. First of all, you need to go back to room 101 and get your number 2 pencil out and take some freaking notes. Because first of all, Einstein, for your information, we started the show back in 94, Thanksgiving of 94, and the Cowboys were in the Super Bowl the following year. So bite me. Bite me.
They've been in the playoffs a few times since
the Super Bowl, 3 out of the 4 years in the 90s, the last dynasty. And also, there's no one to blame. Jerry Jones has the ego. There's no question about it. If you had that kind of money, you've had that kind of clout, of course you're going to have an ego. What are you doing?
You're being double-tated. Yes, I finally made it. I'm sorry I'm late. I had to pull Des Bryant out of the locker room. You know, he was still crying, so I had to pull him out. And
Listen. You're bringing me down, man. Take your foreskin stuff and put it down.
I find it so funny that Skins fans they lost to another 3-10 team last week, and they did the Rams a great favor because now that pick for RG3 that they gave up will probably be the number 2 overall pick in the draft. So the Texans will pick, and then the Rams will pick with the Redskins selection. Mm-hmm. Another great player for the knee-less quarterback that is now there that may not even be the guy to keep that job next year. But, I mean, of anybody to be able to talk trash to Cowboy fans right now.
That's right.
I mean, Redskin fans, really?
You
guys are a bigger train
Punch and Judy back here. Punch and Judy back here.
What's going to become of the Native American themed franchise from the nation's capital? Is that what it's called now?
I don't know. Who knows?
A lot of sports writers won't write the name Redskins anymore. They will call them the Washington Football Franchise.
You know what?
Peter King, I know, is a big one of those.
I got a good name for you. Foreskins. Foreskins, shitskins, crapskins. Did I say it? Or maybe call them I don't know.
But just call them the Maryland Redskins because that's where they play.
Just take them and move them to Siberia. Move them to Siberia, tell them, get the hell out of the States, or package them to L.A. L.A. needs a team.
Washington needs a team. What are you talking about? I mean, Maryland has a really bad football.
They got the Ravens now, so up there with the Baltimore. So take Washington, move them to L.A., change the name, call it L.A. Knights, and you're good.
Yeah, I think with with the Skins, it's funny because that team has got more problems than we do, and they're in need of really a total...
At least we can say that.
A total rebuild. I mean, the sad part is that whoever comes out of the NFC East this year, whether it be the Cowboys or the Eagles, will more than likely be about a 500 ball club.
Yeah.
The Cowboys could go to Washington this week and lose.
No.
And if the Eagles lose... I'm just saying, if they do... If the Eagles lose on Sunday night, then whoever comes out of the NFC East will either be 9-7 or 8-8. The Cowboys will make the playoffs at 8-8 if they lose. They could lose on Sunday as long as the Eagles lose, as long as they beat.
And they will lose. Eagles will lose to the Bears.
As long as they beat the Eagles will lose to the Bears finale. I like the Bears in that one too.
The Bears.
The Bears' offense is on a roll. Those receivers are impossible.
The Bears, they're ferocious.
You put McGowan in there.
Bears are ferocious.
If the Eagles couldn't stop Minnesota without Gerhardt or Peterson last week, I don't see how they stand a chance of stopping Forte, Alshon Jeffrey, and Brandon Marshall.
Let me say this. I want to get back to what I'm saying. So people want to blame Jerry Jones for being owner and GM. I'm in the minority when I say this. You own a team. You put your hard-earned money and buy that team. Of course you're going to have a little ego. Of course you're going to have a little say in what goes on. So he has 2 hats. He's the owner and the GM. I think he is not to fault. Romo gives us the best chance to win. Tony Romo gives us the best chance to win. He is going to throw that one interception. No matter what you say, he's going to throw that one interception. But the problem is the defense. The sports condition trainers out there need to be fired for not conditioning the players, for players to have all these injuries and Achilles heels or all these injuries. They need to be fired. And Monty Kiffin, you were good at the beginning, but then you fell asleep a little at the end. I think that maybe they were trying to lay way for John Gruden, and I would love to have Chucky, John Gruden, as the coach in the Cowboys. And I believe that if money talks, bullshit walks. And I believe that what Jerry wants, Jerry will get, and he'll bring in Gruden. Hopefully, Gruden will feel the same way. I think I think Garrett is gone. Garrett, if we don't get the playoffs, Garrett is gone. Matter of fact, if we do get the playoffs, Garrett's gone.
We covered a lot of ground there, so let me hit a few things that you said, because you made some really good points.
Yes.
And a lot of the things that we talk about.
Salary cap, let me say, the salary cap is the problem. The salary cap is the problem to all of the NFL. Yes, parity is good too, but that's why you're not always able to be on top every year.
The salary cap is one of those issues as far as why there aren't dynasties, but the other issue too, as far as consistency from week to week that you see, is because of changes in the practice rules. There's so much less hitting and tackling in practices now. The teams just don't do it well on Sundays. You can't synthesize hitting and tackling.
Okay.
It's one of those things where you have to do it or not do it. Jerry Jones is general manager. You have to, at this point with the Cowboys, you have to look at the things that you can fix and look at the things that you can't fix.
Right.
Jerry Jones is the team owner, and he will be the general manager for as long as he wants to be.
As long as he lives.
That's not something we can fix.
As long as he lives. Well, I mean, you know.
But as long as he lives, I think at some point he'll probably turn it over to his son. But that in that case, whatever. Tony Romo, we're married to Tony Romo because of the clock, because of the contract this past summer. I don't have a problem with that. I think we ask too much of Tony Romo, and that's generally what causes the problems. Tony Romo never should have been throwing the ball the fourth quarter of that game the other day, because if we had played the correct game plan, if we had good coaching, Jason Garrett had run the ball in the third quarter, and with the running back that was averaging 7 yards a carry that day, had over 100 yards, then there's absolutely no reason why Tony Romo should have been throwing the ball at that point in the fourth quarter.
Right.
That was because of poor coaching. I think that when you talk about the defense, obviously injuries at the linebacker position and the fact that our defensive line was decimated by the end of camp have hurt the Cowboys this year. Monty Kiffin's defense is designed to give up yards between the 20s, but then tighten up inside the red zone, hold teams to field goals, and get turnovers. Got no turnovers the last couple of weeks, and we've not been stopping those teams inside the 20s. So that's where the defense breaks down.
Right.
Got to change those things. But at the end of the day, I hope Jason Garrett's gone at the end of this year.
He needs to go.
I don't think he's the right guy for this job.
He needs to go.
This team is not improved on his watch. They're no better than they were when he took over.
Even if we do get in, he needs to go.
Well, and that's one of the things. As a Cowboy fan right now, I'm one of the few people that will be honest with you and tell you I don't know that the Cowboys making the playoffs is the best thing for the future of the franchise. Because I think in terms of making the playoffs this year will cover up a lot of the flaws in this team's overall outlook. And Jerry Jones would be likely to say, okay, we made the playoffs. That gives me an excuse to keep Jason Garrett for another year, not have to go through the expense of firing and turning over a coaching staff and stuff like that. I
think Jerry likes Garrett. Jerry's always liked Jason Garrett, but I think that
Jerry likes being right.
Well, that's
and
true.
And he hired Jason Garrett. He wants to be right about that more than anything.
And then was the same thing with he liked Chan Gailey too.
Right.
He liked Chan Gailey also, but then he realized and said, look, Jerry's a smart man. Don't let that fool you. Jerry's a very smart man. No phone calls. He's a very smart man. He will be making that decision, and he will pull that plug if he needs to pull the plug.
That's what we hope.
And pretty sure of that. And I think that even if they're at 8-8 or they're 9-7, I do believe that even if we do get in, the plug is being pulled. If we get in, I think the plug is going to be pulled. I think secretly that he's planned. There's been an inside source, and I think you've heard this too, that we've been laying it out for Gruden to come in. We get Bill Callahan, we get Monty Kiffin. Only problem is Monty Kiffin is gone.
Well, Gruden's whole staff from the old Tampa Bay and, the part of the Raiders staff, Callahan from the Raiders, and then the defensive staff, Marinelli and Kiffin, are in place. But Gruden has already said he is intending on going back to Monday Night Football next year. Would the Cowboys' job change that? I don't know. It's definitely, there's no question it's the most high-profile job in football.
I will bet anybody in this room, if Jerry knocks on Chucky's door, Chucky will answer that door. And if Jerry wines and dines Chucky, John Gruden, will be the next coach of America's team, the Dallas Cowboys.
I think that if
I don't care what you think, because what you think is okay. Go ahead.
What I was going to say, if you want a real coach to come in, you should hire Lovie Smith.
What?
Obviously,
It's not a bad idea.
He's going to.
That's what we need.
Yeah,
but we need that type of intensity.
But he's going to go to the Redskins, and he'll take care of everything from the bottom all the way up.
Let me tell you
and
something.
Once again, we'll be division.
Let me tell you something. That was an aberration last year. Everybody discovered RG0's pistol. Everybody found out about RG0's pistol moves and about his option, about the read option or whatever. It was discovered. That being said, the corpse of Wayne Fonts will be your wow. Or the corpse. Who was the guy from the Jets way back when? I can't think. There you go. The corpse of Rich Kotite will be the coach.
Look, when you look at the Redskins, I laid out a scenario on Team America's team last week where the Cowboys could end up with Mike Shanahan as their head coach now. Because he and Jerry Jones have a very long history. They're friends. They work together on a lot of league stuff over the years. They practiced together every year when he was in Denver. I wouldn't say that would be beyond the realm of possibility, but at the end of the day,
I don't know about all that. But
I think that it's as far as who ends up as a head coach in Dallas. Obviously the next 2 weeks are going to tell you a lot about that. I still think if the Cowboys make the playoffs, that it might save Garrett's job, especially if they win one playoff game. Garrett hangs around, but then. At the end of the day, you still got to turn over the whole defensive staff because this defense has been the worst defense in NFL history.
And I think that you mark it where?
You could keep Garrett healthy, but you don't want to stay.
Blasphemous as this might sound to all Cowboy fans out there, I'm a diehard Cowboy fan.
This might be history.
No, you mark it where off. You get rid of,
You might have to because of salary cap issues.
Yeah.
The thing with where is you look at productivity, you look at age, and you look at what's the value in keeping that guy for what you're paying him as opposed to what you can get back on the cap and bring in younger players.
Right.
If you think about the guy that everybody was drafted with where that everybody looked at, the two guys that were drafted with him, Marcus Spears, who's now done a decent job in Baltimore, but he's a backup basically there.
Yeah.
And then Sean Merriman was the other guy. For years, remember the big debate, who's the better draft pick, Sean Merriman or DeMarcus Ware?
Yes.
Sean Merriman's out of the league.
Yeah.
So when you talk about DeMarcus Ware in terms of longevity, he's really outlived a lot of his contemporaries as a productive football player.
Right.
In the trenches, sometimes when your body starts to go, it goes, man. That's just how it works.
So you agree with me, Lo, on the basic out front of the, about there's really no one to point a finger to. There's no per se one blame.
I blame Jason Garrett. Personally, we talk about the trinity of blame on Team America's team a lot, whether it's Jerry's fault. You have three camps of Cowboy fans that you have the people that want to blame Jerry, you have the people that want to blame Romo, and you have the people that want to blame Garrett. For me, Jason Garrett is inadequate as a head NFL football coach.
Okay.
The problems on defense reflect that because he's the head coach.
Right.
Whether he coaches the defense or not, he's the one that's responsible for fixing it.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, Jason Garrett is where the buck stops.
Okay.
Because he's the head football coach in Dallas. He doesn't put either his offense or his defense in a good position. Running the football the other day helps both sides of the football.
Yeah.
And he didn't do that.
No, then when you're trailing by that 1 point, then you got to throw.
Right.
Yeah, then you got to throw.
But I was looking at that game on Sunday, and I thought the same thing. Running the ball in the fourth quarter should absolutely seal the game up.
Even at the end of the third quarter. And they just didn't do it.
What's the time on the clock, guys, back here?
It's 9:45.
Okay. 9:45?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was baffled by looking at that game. It's like, okay, Cowboys already had it wrapped up, and I was just getting ready to go out and go to eat. And the next thing you know, the Packers pull a big one. And I was like, because when I saw on the highlights, Romo was passing. What is wrong with Romo, and why does he have to be like a gunslinger?
Look. Romo is, as far as I'm concerned, a lot of similarities with Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Call me crazy, but Brett Favre.
Good comparison. I made
a lot of comparisons with Romo and Brett Favre. Slingers. I think Romo's fault is that he sees things folding. He wants to force and thread the needle. Now, sometimes it works. He can improvise. He's very athletic. You want to talk about stats? Have stats out of the yin yang. He's got the stats, more stats than any other quarterback that's played for the Cowboys, ironically. And yet he's from he graduated from Wisconsin or some northern Illinois. Okay, I was close. But anyway, Northern Illinois. But yet he's got passing stats out of the yin yang. And the bottom line is, he gives the Cowboys the best chance to win. So the problem with Romo is he tries to force the issue. He tries to needle the thread, but guess what? He will get his ring. Now, I like to think he'll get his ring with the Cowboys. And I think that he will get his ring, one Super Bowl appearance with the Cowboys. But if this continues, do you see now? He's being paid a big lump of. He's going to remain a Cowboy. You think?
Yeah.
Yes. He's not going anywhere else.
No.
He's going to remain a Cowboy.
No, I think with Romo, and I think if you look at this season, Romo's the least of our problems. And at the end of the day, you can even look back at this game on Sunday. 2 picks or not.
Right.
The offense for the Cowboys scored 36 points on Sunday.
Yes.
You can't win football games in the NFL scoring 36 points offensively.
Yeah, problem.
You've got problems.
Yeah,
it's not
I agree.
Romo's issue.
I agree with that.
No. And it's not Romo's fault. It's not Romo's issue. It's not Romo's fault.
As far as whether he can win the Super Bowl, if you remember the Giants' first Super Bowl when they beat the New England Patriots, in the playoff game in Dallas, where the Giants beat the Cowboys, Romo drove the team downfield at the end of that football game, and he hit Patrick Creighton dead in the numbers in the end zone. Patrick Creighton dropped the football.
Yep.
And that was a Cowboys Super Bowl run right there. That Cowboys team should have gone to the Super Bowl that year.
Exactly.
That wasn't on Romo, but nobody ever remembers that Romo took them down the field and hit a guy in the hands when he dropped the football.
Kevin, speak your mind. What you got?
Oh, I just say we have our guest.
Brandon Hardesty is in the house. We're going to bring him in here in about a few minutes. Brandon Hardesty is in the back. We're going to bring you in a few minutes. Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so but I agree. Yes, Romo will get a Super Bowl. Romo will get a Super Bowl here very soon. I think very soon, and it will be with the Cowboys this year. My pick at the beginning of the season. You're going to laugh at this one. By the beginning of the season, I picked the Texans and the Lions.
Lions still kind of in it.
I picked the Texans and the Lions. Well, but technically,
that's another team like the Cowboys. Extremely talented team, can't get it done.
That's right.
San Diego Chargers, similar.
More
and more of that you see across the board.
But technically, we're still alive.
We're still alive. And even if we lose this weekend, we could still be alive.
We're alive, baby.
Before you get me out of here, let me just tell people you can catch us every Wednesday, although the next 2 weeks, like you guys, we're off for the holidays, Christmas and New Year's, Team America's team.
Burn that Eagles hat.
We got our podcast on sportsradio910.com. We'll be back on January 8th on Sports Radio 910 from 6 to 8.
All right.
You can also follow us on Twitter at America's Team 910.
Anything about Cowboy Nation, he'll know about it. He'll tell you. He knows all about it. Listen, go back in the days of Don Meredith, go back to the days
Roger
of
Staubach.
Raphael Stephan. This guy will entertain and give you the history upon the Cowboys team because he knows about the Cowboys.
We had Danny White on the show, actually.
Danny White was on 2 weeks ago. I wish I could have caught that.
It was a great show.
Danny White
was on the podcast. It's still up on sportsradio910.com. You can also catch my column weekly on a website called pmnds.com, where I write twice a week about football.
There you go. Before I let you go, Mike, I'm going to let you know, I think we're on the same agreement. It's not so much, you're saying, Garrett, but I think you agree with me as well, saying that it is.
Defense is the problem.
Yeah, but it's
no question.
But the football is not what it used to. Football is not the same animal that it used to be when you had dynasties.
No, it will never.
Football is not like what George Steinbrenner does, the corpse of George Steinbrenner with the Yankees, doing what he does with the Yankees, which, by the way, the Yankees suck. But anyway, doing that, we used to be doing that is also. How about the Red Sox? But anyway, but still going through all of that rigmarole, football is a different animal. Football is a totally different animal. It's not the same.
Yeah, the salary cap and the new practice
Eagles
rules have changed the game and made dynasties much more, even consistency week to week, much less dynasties, much more difficult.
Okay. Kevin. Are you constipated?
No, I'm not. I'm the one with the good diet, pal.
Really? Tofu and raw eggs?
Very well.
Yeah, well, you were passing all that gas at the beginning.
No,
That was you, Kevin. Yes. Own it.
No.
Yeah.
I'm the one who eats well.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's a health nut. I'm the one who exercises all the time.
You're the one that eats cocoa nuts and tofu and.
I went to the dentist yesterday
and ripe
I had
bananas.
Problems. I didn't have any problems because I got one from grape nuts.
Because
you've
been slurping that wacky syrup. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Salty and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, it's a pleasure.
Thank you, George.
We will talk. All right, give it to Mike Hancock.
Hey!
All right. Appreciate it.
I guess I'll give him a hand. Yeah.
Well, you bow down. Bow down to Mike.
I dropped my microphone here.
That's fine. Real thing. All right. Everybody knows this next person. Everybody should know him. He's a little bit bashful, a little bit shy. He probably doesn't want to do this, but I told him to come on. I know the people out there on the internet are going to get a hard on this one, but that's fine. I told him to come on. He's in the house tonight. He's been on Letterman. He's been on Leno too, and you've been on Kimmel.
I'm not Leno. Kimmel.
Yeah, I'm in Leno. All right. Here he is, Brandon Hardesty.
Hey!
How you doing, sir?
How you doing?
All right.
Put your microphone on.
Get your microphone on. We got your microphone. Yes. That'll be sorry. That'll be sorry.
I'm an amateur here.
Amateur.
Okay.
All right, Brandon. So what is going on? You drove all the way down here from Baltimore.
I did. I drove all the way from Baltimore.
Go Orioles.
Go Orioles, Ravens, etc. We talked last year, and I was interested in shooting sort of a documentary about you. So we managed to come down after the first time, and we got to see a little behind the scenes of the show, how you work and how you perform and do your show, and it's fun. It's interesting. You know, we got here about an hour ago, and we're just kind of getting a crash course of the Gorgeous George show.
Gotcha.
I actually saw Brandon. I was watching a movie once, and I saw Brandon in a
Walk right in front of the set without even learning.
A movie with Nick Swartz, and it was about becoming a porno actor. And all of a sudden I see Brandon in there, and I say, "Oh, there we go." I always try to see if I know anybody in these movies personally, and there's Brandon there.
There are two.
We have a clip from that right now.
Oh, really?
Are we going to show it? Well, okay.
Is Bucky Larson Born to be a Star?
Bucky Larson, Born to be a Star.
I don't know if we can air it close to the.
Let's see. Here we go. Let me get it up. I don't know if we have.
Are we able to air it to the camera? I don't think we are able to do that. Are
We
we?
can do that. Let's see. I think I can do it.
You going to do it? You going to pull it off?
Here we go.
No, that's from the.
That's, oh my God! What are you doing, Kevin? No, easy. What are you doing? Kevin.
There you go. Does that look familiar?
All right.
Is that the movie I was watching? I'm not sure.
Okay. I don't know if that takes you off the hook or what that does, but
No.
it takes you off the hook. Okay.
You put what you want.
Okay. But anyway,
Nobody's
no.
never imitated us before, so
Well, I think he nailed you.
There you go.
Or me.
Check it out. It's on YouTube.
Well,
Everything's
it's
on
not. We're not. Okay. Anyway, it's a different vehicle, different beast all the way through. But so basically, the one I saw that I got a big chuckle about is about when you're going to the things you don't do when you get pulled over by a cop.
Oh yeah.
The pulled over by a cop. That was funny. And then when you were talking about you were two people into one, and you were doing. I don't know how, obviously you put the camera on still pause and you were doing both two different
I was
characters.
I did
that milkshake.
I did a series of videos where I would reenact scenes from movies and I would play all the characters and sort of edit it together. And that sort of I got contacted by someone from Jimmy Kimmel who wanted me to do some videos for them. After that, I sort of got out to Los Angeles and I got an acting manager, and I've been out there ever since, kind of auditioning and trying to get an acting career going.
Okay.
What other movies? I know the Bucky Larson, You're a Star. What's the other?
There was
anything
that.
else?
I did the last straight to DVD American Pie movie. I had a lead part in. It was American Pie Presents The Book of Love. And
Okay.
This year I did book two movies this year. One is an independent film called 7 Minutes. It's like kind of a heist.
3 minutes. Okay.
And the other one is
7 minutes, okay.
And the other one is a straight to DVD Scorpion King movie.
All right, we got 3.
Oh, is The Rock in it?
The Rock's not in it at this point. I think his ship has sailed.
We got Rock Hudson. Yes, we got 3 minutes. All right, you got to do at least one little thing, one little. I mean, we could do Kevin first. We got to get Kevin. All
right. Well, I guess in the video I just sort of did Kevin like this. Hey George, how you doing? All right, great. Yeah, you ready for the show tonight? That's good. All right. So what's your plan for the show tonight? Oh, Kevin, well, I was thinking about maybe we stop by Party City and we pick up some masks, like a Bill Clinton mask and a Michael Lewinsky mask, and we just kind of improvise for like 10 minutes.
Only 10 minutes.
You're a genius, George. You're a genius, George. You're a genius, George.
When I first saw that, I thought
funny.
Jack Black imitating me. That was perfect. No.
It's some people you can nail, some of them you can't. People you can't. I think it's hard. They say imitation is a form of flattery, so that's cool. But but it's still hard. I think it'd be hard for someone to nail certain people. They have one that Ric Flair, be able to nail this one guy that wrestles, imitates Ric Flair, and he's got Ric Flair down to a T as far as imitation. He's a wrestler. I forget the guy's name.
Jay Lethal.
There you go, Lethal, and he does the Ric Flair imitation. I think he's got Ric Flair. I'm a hard animal to nail, but I think you did a good job. Well, like I said, so it's what it boils down to. Brandon, we're going to do some stuff in the future. We're going to work together on doing a documentary. I'm all for that. And we got 1 minute left. Oh, my God. All right, baby, it's one Mona Lisa.
Happy
Mona Lisa. And only one Gorgeous George.
Yeah.
Or not.
Good to see you, pal.
Good to see you.
Chestnuts roasted on an open rack. We got some together.
Huh?
Jack Frost nipping at that puss.
Hey, get Daniel Snyder up here while you can.
When their eyes are aglow, we'll find it hard to sleep tonight. Because they know that Gigi is on his way, filling up all the pantyhose and stockings with his sleigh. And every mother's mother and sister's sister is going to spy to see if Gigi can really get it up. So I'm offering this simple phrase.
Yeah, here's Daniel Snyder.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
From our owner.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Brazier.
Yes. Daniel Snyder from the Redskins said the same thing. There goes Daniel Snyder.